this is Cameron Prepper here. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 Ps in our Prepping for Beginners, the first episode. These 3 Ps that I use for prepping, as well as my ordinary day-to-day lives. But what first we're going to talk about is what is prepping. So for anybody that's watching this video particularly, that's not aware what prepping is, or don't understand what prepping is, or just about to get into prepping. Well, first off, obviously welcome to the prepping world. But the definition of what is prepping to me is a means of gathering knowledge, equipment and materials. Materials could be food, water, anything you want to survive any given situation. So what I mean by any given situation, this could be a means from job loss to something that's small like a job loss, or something like a natural disaster, i.e. if you're more particularly in America and across maybe parts of Europe, and obviously down in sort of Australia, earthquakes, you've got typhoons, hurricanes. In the UK we got gale force winds, things like that. That's natural disaster. You can also prepare for man-made disasters, which is becoming quite common now because of we as a human race, we tend to like to we tend to like to, I wouldn't say, well, destroy land, but we because we're so dependent on technology, we don't understand the outside world. But man-made disasters is things like war is one particularly. You've got blackouts, gas explosions, things like that as well, which is obviously man-made disasters. So prepping, it doesn't matter what you prep for, whatever your experiences are in the outside world, you can always use them for prepping. So for instance, my experience is I have experience in self-defense and martial arts, so I have incorporated that into my prepping skills. But some of you might be out there, might be doctors, you might be human resource managers, you might be librarians, you might be teachers. Those skills that you have can be used in prepping. For instance, obviously a human resource person or a teacher will be good with organisation skills. I'm terrible at organisation skills. So it doesn't matter what job you do, you can incorporate your experience into prepping, which is brilliant for a community as well. If a disaster was to strike, you can use your skills and bring them together into a big wide community. But the lesson obviously today is about the 3 Ps. I use these 3 Ps, like I said at the start, on my day preps. I started using these 3 Ps when I first started prepping. I'm not too sure whether they are out on YouTube or anything like that, but I've used them and incorporated them to myself, and if I made them, brilliant. Obviously not, it doesn't matter. But I use these so that I can do my preps on a day-to-day basis without any confusion or without any mistakes. Obviously you will make mistakes in prepping and anything in life, like I do anyway, but these help me to get by and to sort of progress in my prepping. These 3 Ps obviously is practice. Not in particular, I do in particular order actually. These 3 Ps are planning, preparation and practice. That's in the order. Obviously the planning part is what I do. Obviously hopefully you'll be able to take this on board as well, but what I do in planning, I have a notepad. I have a few now because I have been doing prepping for a while, but I have a notepad, and I first started writing the 2 questions is what are you prepping for and why. Those are the 2 questions you need to answer first. Pure reason, obviously, you don't want to go into it straight away if you do not know what you're prepping for. So those are the 2 questions that you must ask yourself first. And as you gradually start your planning, you can actually increase it when in a sense of why you're planning and what you're planning for, you can start writing a little bit of research down into, say for instance, if you're planning for a blackout, you can start doing a little bit of research on what a blackout is and how you can protect yourself from it and things like that. So the plan will, as you progress through your prepping, will start to get bigger and bigger. By all means, start it only with a page or two, which is not a problem. You will start to develop, you will start to have research notes, you will start to have equipment lists, food supplies of what you got, your itinerary, things what you need to do for alternatives, i.e. What's your, say for instance if you want to bug out, what is your A, B and C and D, E options. Don't rely on just one option, you always got to rely on multiple options. That's the main key. Obviously, as prepping, you can use it in the outside world as well, in normal day-to-day lives. Us preppers always work on threes, if not more. Some of us work on more. Free. What I mean by threes is free of everything. So always make sure you have free plans, free escape routes, free ways of filtering water, free ways of making fire, etc, etc, etc. So which we will learn obviously as you go along. Excuse me, I've got a drink here as well, because obviously we are talking quite a lot today. But the next one is preparation. So once you've wrote your 2 or 3 pages of what you're prepping for, etc, etc, you can start to look at preparing. Once you've decided what you're prepping for, you can start to write what equipment you need, what equipment you think you need, how much food you're going to need for a particular given time. I suggest to start off only a week. There is people obviously probably around you that you probably speak to have got a 6-month supply of food, water, have got a year supply, etc. But start off with 1 week. Just think of your preps. Get obviously help from other people by all means, but just think of your preps. That's the most important thing. So start off with a week. So how much water are you going to need? Now for me, there's 7 of us in this household. That's not including the 3 other people that I've invited into this household, and maybe obviously more to come. But for 7 of us with water, if you think about for drinking alone, you've got to drink. We're probably an average of it's 2 litres a day. Now 2 litres of water per member per household. 7 of us is what, 14 litres a day. So after a week's supply of water, that is obviously substantial. So this is where you're going to have to start to plan and to prepare ways of finding other means of water. So by writing these things down now is very important, because obviously you might not have space for X amount of food or X amount of water. So these first 2 stages are very important for yourself, because you need to know. The last stage is practice. Practice for me, even though it's third down the list, is probably one of the most important things. Practice, it simply put, is that any material or any equipment or any tools that you buy, if you're not experienced with them or skilled enough with them, you need to get out and start practicing. It doesn't matter what, if it's only half an hour a week, even 15 minutes a week, you need to become familiar with that item that you've bought. For instance, I've shown a YouTube video on the cat tourniquet that I bought about 6-7 months ago now. I demonstrate the cat tourniquet and how to apply it on yourself. Now, I had to practice that over hundreds and hundreds of times to get used to it. I still practice it now, so it stays in my head. But what you got to understand is that we're in a period now where we're safe and secure. Nothing's happening at the moment, so you have time to do this now. Now, if disaster was to strike tomorrow and you haven't practiced it, all your adrenaline is going to be pumping and you're going to be confused and don't know what to do. And you need to do something really quick. So practice it now before it, obviously, hopefully, touch wood, obviously it's not too late. I hope hope you obviously we go through. Hope you obviously are doing your plan now, which is brilliant. Again, only a page or two, it's not a problem. And obviously prepare and practice. I've done these, as I said, for about 6-7 years, and obviously I'll tell you the reason why I started prepping is because pure reason. The first incident happened was when the July 7 bombings. It wasn't the September 11th. Yes, I did, when the September 11th bombings happened, I did become more aware of my surroundings. I did start to do more reading. But I wouldn't say I started to prepare, as in, not even part-time, to be honest. It was the July 7th that I started to, London bombings, which I started to really start to think that it could happen to anyone. It can happen to me. So I needed to start to prepare. And then it started to get even more serious when I got married. You'd be amazed how having a wife and children can make you think of what's around you and the dangers. So I suggest anybody out there that's watching this video, you don't have to do what I do in the sense of prepare for everything, just prepare for one thing. Well, that concludes the 3 P's of how I started prepping. Again, is planning, preparation and practice. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. By all means, if you have any questions that you need answering on your own plan on how you get started and things like that, by all means I'm always free to answer your messages. But the next video, obviously, we're going to go into a little bit more detail on sort of ways of planning and ways of setting goals for yourself as well, because setting goals in prepping is important, as well as it is obviously in your ordinary daily lives. So until then, obviously, next video, episode 2. Until then, it's Camo Prepper out.